is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Obviously, I was a big fan of podcasting. I've always been somebody who wanted to be on the microphone, wanted to be in front of people. It's something I've always wanted to do. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Juice in the Morning. I'm your host, Justin Kelly. We're getting rid of the juice, baby. We're getting rid of it. It sounds better. I mean, it's more professional. You know what we like. You know what we're doing. But hey, we are back. So I wanted to kind of just first of all go over a few of the changes to Juice in the Morning in the future. Juice in the Morning is going to be a show that I do whenever the hell I want. Hey, thank you for joining, Lisa Wood. I appreciate it. It's going to be a show that I do when I want. So there's no timetables. I apologize. I know one of the biggest rules for podcasting is that you always do it on a schedule so people can get used to it and keep, listening when it comes out and, make it a part of their schedule. That's not what I'm going to do. I apologize. I got a lot of shit going on in my life, but I am going to be coming to you as often as I can. And I just want to be able to have to say something. I want to have something that's worth saying. Secondly, nothing against any of the co-hosts that have ever been on Juice in the Morning podcast. I need to do this myself. I need to do it by myself. It needs to be my thing. It needs to be on my timetable. Then I don't feel the stress of trying to make sure that I'm working around other people's schedules. Are they invested? Are they not invested? It doesn't need to be about anybody else but me. And I know that sounds a little narcissistic, but hey, I'm doing a podcast. Of course I'm a narcissist. Of course I want it to be all about me. Of course I want all of you guys just to hear my opinion. No, I'm just kidding. I want to do this a little more often. I want to do this with the Facebook Live. I think it's something that people enjoy. I think it's something that's fun. I think it's something that I can do. If you guys are looking at this little jar right here, we are doing this on Facebook Live. This jar right here, you can drop Facebook stars. It's just something that people can do. It's kind of like Twitch where people can give bits, that kind of thing. But it is something that's available, and it makes a little cool, little thing when you do the donation. So go ahead and try it out. Try out the whole... See, look, we got Cam Evans already. He's liked the stream. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And I don't know. Tell me if you guys heard that sound effect because I'm using a new system. So hopefully it works. Hopefully it's a cool thing. But yeah, thank you for joining, Cam. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you, Lisa, for saying I'm glad that I'm glad that you're here. I don't know about the support button, Cam. I'm not really sure how it is, how it's going. But we're gonna figure it out. Whatever. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe just because it's a Facebook Live, there's no support button. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Because that's the other thing I'm going to be doing, guys. I did do some Facebook gaming. I did do some gaming on Facebook. I'm going to get back into that. Hopefully Cam, being a big gamer himself, will be able to do some cross-platform play, and you guys will be able to hear some of our ridiculous conversations while we play video games. But that's something that I'm looking forward to. And like I said, Cam, I'm not 100% sure on the stars thing. We'll figure it out. I think it might also get disabled since I haven't streamed in a while and I haven't done any kind of podcasting or anything like that, but we will get it together. So once again, back to the original point of this podcast. This point of this podcast is to let you guys know that I am doing this solely for me and to kind of talk to you guys. I want it to be more of a one-on-one or one-on however many of you guys are watching. That's what I want. I want to have Brandon Perkins. I want you to be in the comments, talking your smack, dude, having a good time from over there at Summer Bash. And I want, Calvin Turner to be jumping in here and making some jokes, talking some shit. And occasionally, dude, we'll figure out having guests. We'll figure out that kind of thing. But it's going to be real low budget, man. And it's going to be all on my schedule. If people can't make it, that's okay. That's the way it is. I once again, back to the beginning, you got to be kind of narcissistic to do a podcast. And that's me. So this is something I've wanted to do. And once again, nothing against anybody else that's done it with me. I appreciate everything that you guys have put in. You all are extremely talented. Every one of you guys could do whatever show you wanted to do on your own. You didn't need me to do it. But once again, I love you guys, and thank you for joining. Thank you, Brandon, and everybody for joining. But let's get to it, okay? Got a lot of stuff going on in my life. Once again, this podcast going to go on my schedule, so you might get it once a month. You might get it every couple of weeks. You might get it tomorrow. Who knows? It really comes down to if I need to say something, if I have something that I want to say. There's a lot of projects that we're working on. Rachel Crosby in the chat, we're already talking about doing some more audio dramas. We've got one in the bank, guys. It is coming to you. Hightail is coming to you. It is an audio drama that's going to be fucking exciting. You're going to love it. We've got a lot of talented people doing some voice acting, and we've even got a couple other projects kind of lined up. So, stay tuned. JK Media is going to be bringing us some good stuff. But let's get into like the podcast stuff, okay? This is kind of like a, this was all the business side of things, but really I've got a lot going on in life. We've got a new little baby. She is going to be fucking crazy 6 months in 11 days. So that's kind of the thing that's been taking up a lot of time. A lot of you people out there say, okay, well, you're not going to sleep at all. You're going to hate your life, blah, blah, blah. Things are going to be so tough. Just to tell you guys, unless I'm just lucky and have a great wife, things have been pretty goddamn easy. All I'm saying, it's been pretty easy. I think it is because, I have a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, I think it's because I have a fantastic wife. She does do a lot of the work. She does a lot of the heavy lifting, but I try to do everything I can to help her with whatever she needs help with. It's one of those things. It's got to be a give and take. It's got to be something that she does some of the things and I do some of the things. But the baby's growing. She's getting big. It's kind of wild. Literally all the cliches are cliches because of a reason. She pukes a lot. She is growing so fast, and it's kind of crazy. We switched daycares, which it's one of those things. I've never had somebody in my life that I'm that worried about at all times. I'm just I'm thinking about her. I'm hoping she's having a good day. And it's funny because I was thinking about it and I'm like, man, I really hope she's having a fucking good day. I'm really hoping she's having a good day. But then in the back of my head, I'm also she's probably just fucking laying there chilling. She doesn't care. She's a baby. She doesn't have responsibilities at daycare. How could she be having a bad day? I get it. But then, she does have a bad day. So then Jen and I are oh man, we feel terrible. We feel terrible that she's having a bad day and she's causing stress to these daycare workers. It's one of those things. There's so many different emotions. That's another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Me as a person has never been super emotional. I've been really I'm pretty good on the high energy, woo, yeah, we're partying, we're having a good time, that kind of emotion. But stress, happiness, laughter, laughing, laughing at things that I would never have laughed at before, things that would have probably annoyed me, a baby going I fucking laugh my ass off because she's cracking me up by just making a screaming noise. Why is that a thing, but yeah, it's just, that's taken up a lot of my life. Also, I just wanted to share this shirt with you guys. I keep getting fucked up with the camera because it's backwards, but Married with Children, they I don't know for sure if Dustin Roller's doing that podcast as much anymore, but they're doing that much. They're doing a shit ton of stuff over at Thirsty Goat Entertainment. So check them out. I just wanted to give them a shout out because Dustin Roller's helped me out a lot in the podcast game, and I'm wearing his shirt. I actually wore it to the gym today. That's another thing. I've been going to the gym a lot lately. I'm not losing weight, but that's probably because I drink a lot of fucking beer. And that's the point of this podcast as well. This podcast, I want you to join me whenever I have this podcast and I say it's coming out. It's going to come out in the evening. If you have kids, if you have a wife, if you have people that you're hanging out with, just let them know. We're going to have a beer with Juice. We'll be back. I know I said I'm not going to be calling myself Juice anymore, but you get it. You get what I'm saying. They'll know what you're talking about. So grab whatever beverage of choice that you have. Grab whatever choice of beverage that you have. I almost spilled a little bit there. And just, cheers. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Let's have a little bit of a beer. Let's have a little bit of a conversation. And I love Amy Haddon. Yes, everything changes when it's your baby. Cam Evans, just drinking milk until you shit your pants. That's a dream. You are correct, my friend. Also, I am testing these little notifications. So if you guys, everybody in here, would just click share on this video and share it with your people, I want to see if your names are going to pop up, and then it'll be really cool later on when this video's on. You can be like, oh, there's my fucking name, and a little like chime sound, that kind of thing. So go ahead and do that for me, please. What's up, Josh Limke? Thank you for joining, man. Something really interesting is going on in the chat too. I don't know if anybody uses OBS Labs, but I think it's telling me how many years you guys have been a follower of Juice in the Morning, because I've got Cam on here for 5 years. I can't believe that. That's insane. Oh, there it is. Cam Evans shared it. Scared the fucking piss out of me because it's loud. It's loud in my headphones. Damn. Did not expect that. But yes, thank you, Cam, for sharing that. Look at that. There we go. But yeah, so like I said, I'm excited to see all those anniversary people. Let me check real quick. You just said you can't hear it, Cam. So let's just go ahead and turn all of these noises up and see if that helps. I mean, I feel like I'm being like a dick and like telling you guys to fucking to share it just to share it, but I really want to see if it makes the noise. It's really loud in my headphones, so I mean, I think your guys' name pops up at least. We'll figure out the audio. We'll figure out the audio side. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for sharing it. I appreciate you guys doing that. That's getting a lot of people joining and hanging out. And like I said, this is like using OBS Labs. It thinks that I'm streaming games. I'm not streaming games right now. I'm just talking to you guys and doing my podcast. And I'm recording this so that I can put it out later on Apple Podcasts. But once again, excuse me, this is time for a little sip of beer, sip of beer for a Monday night. If you had a long day, take a drink. Once again, you don't have to be drinking booze. You could be drinking your pop. You could be drinking your water. You could be drinking your warm milk, getting yourself snuggly and warm so you can just lay down in bed and just, but you can hang out and listen and talk and chat with us while we're doing that. But no, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on. Talked about the baby. Been watching a ton of fucking TV shows. I like that's kind of a look I'm going for, Cam. I'm also kind of going for like just a little bit of a bigger, like, beefier beard, that kind of thing. But yeah, so been watching a lot of TV. Just got into a show that is based off of one of my favorite movies of all time. You guys might not know what it is, but just kind of raise your hand in the chat if you do. I've been watching Dusk Till Dawn. It's a TV series on Netflix. If you've not seen Dusk Till Dawn, you should check it out. Just check it out. Go ahead and look at it on your phone. I won't be mad. I won't be mad that you're looking away for a minute. Look up Dusk Till Dawn, IMDb. It's a movie. It's a vampire movie. And it's got George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino. I'm pretty sure plays a cameo. I don't want to get it wrong because it's one of my favorite movies, but it's a film by Robert Rodriguez and like that whole group of people with like Tarantino and all them making those like grindhouse type films, and it's just dope. It's cool. The Gecko brothers, they kidnap a family. They go they cross the border to Mexico. And yes, I mean, that's the bottom line right there, Cam. Salma Hayek's boobs, like seeing those warlocks are special. Those are something special to look at in the movie, and really to just watch it for that alone. You'll probably be satisfied if you're a male, or maybe even if you're a female. I don't care. Maybe you're into that. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. I think there's a lot of women into her. But no, I think, okay, so they cross the border. They cross the border and they go over into Mexico, and they are going to this like infamous strip club called the Titty Twister. And eventually just all hell, breaks loose, and they got to fight their way out from like this like vampire kind of like horde type of vampires. One thing I didn't know, I just thought they were doing like some crazy makeup just to like make the vampires look scarier, but apparently they're the vampires in from timestamp, dude. I would have to like I don't know, man. I'd have to watch it. It's probably at least in the first third. Like, because they kidnap the family and then they like fight to get across the border, and it's literally like in the first, like one of the first scenes when they get into the strip club. So I mean, just fast forward till you start seeing the strip club. And I think is it Cheech Marin is on the front, like he's like one of the characters. Anyways, but I thought it was like a makeup thing just to make them scarier, but really it's like, they're not like necessarily vampires. They're like serpent, like demon type things. But anyways, I'm getting off subject. I'm talking about From Dusk Till Dawn, the movie. What I want to get into is the TV show. Okay, so you're going to go into the TV show. The TV show is not going to blow you away from the beginning. But if you really enjoy the movie, I think you can appreciate that first season of the show. The first season is basically like a super way more in-depth of how they got from where the Gecko brothers were to the kidnapping of the family to the Titty Twister, and then like how they get out and like how they, make it away. They added, I think, a lot more detail and like a lot of different things. And it's very good. It's very entertaining. There's a lot of cool like stuff that happens. There's a lot of things that... There's a lot of things that transpire, and it's different than the movie, obviously. The movie is very short and simple to the point. It's very flashy. It's very awesome, very exciting, lots of action, that kind of thing, whereas the TV show there are some draggy moments, but for the most part, I've enjoyed it. And I watched it literally from probably 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday till 1 o'clock when the football game started. And then I picked it up again like after the 1 o'clock games because I was kind of bored and I was losing in fantasy, so I was real pissed. So I just kind of started watching the show again. But I just realized this morning that I made it through only one season. And normally when I watch a show for that long, I get through like at least a season or two. So it's a good show. I'm going to keep watching it. It's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's a Netflix original. It's pretty dope. I enjoy it. I suggest you go and check it out. It's something that I've been watching. Speaking of that, I don't know if any of you guys are football fans, but fantasy football was a fucking joke on Sunday. It was a joke. I had 42 points, I think, going into the end of the fourth quarter of the 4 o'clock games. And then something happened. DeAndre Hopkins catches the winning touchdown pass, scores 22 points for my fantasy football team. Chase Claypool scores 2 touchdowns, 20-something points for my fantasy football team. So I went from being down a shit ton. Then I'm only down 7. The game's about to start right now. I'm going to miss it. I'm not going to watch it because I've noticed when I don't watch my fantasy football teams, they do better. When I don't watch them play, they do better. So I'm not going to watch. Cordero Patterson needs 7 points. If you're listening to this on the podcast, that's already happened and I've already gotten my win. But yeah, fantasy football. It's been a crapshoot, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this NFL season, like 2020 is going to 2020, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just, that's what it's going to do. Things are going to happen. Shit's going to happen. Crazy stuff's going to happen. I'm not really sure how it's going to end up, but it's almost over, ladies and gentlemen. And then we can look forward to next year. And who cares if it's crazy? I kind of like crazy. I kind of like different. I kind of like things being shaken up a little bit. But fantasy football, man, it's tough. Yeah. I don't want to mention it. James put it on the chat, so I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it or not. James's fantasy football team had the lowest score I think I've ever seen a fantasy football team ever have of a coach that's trying to win. He had 49 points for the whole week. And I understand that crying in the fetal position in the shower with last year's championship belt was the right thing to do. I agree. That's what I would have been doing. I'm just hoping for a win tonight. So, but yeah, that's all that, like that's kind of what's been going on, guys. I mean, what do you guys got going on? I mean, what's going on out there in the world of Cam, Rachel, and James, and, you know, we've got Josh Lemke, Dustin Roller, Amy. You know, what's going on with you guys? Tell me, and then while we're at it, the next thing that we're going to do, I'm sorry, that's gross, guys. I got some sort of like, oh, Rachel. We are a point. Okay, Rachel Crosby asked, how's your league set up? How are you scoring so low? So basically, Rachel, our scoring is very standard. We don't have like bonuses for extra yards, things like that. I'm pretty sure that another thing that we do is we do half point PPR. We don't do full point. Or did we switch to full point? It might be because we didn't switch to full point, but it also might just be our scoring is like just very standard. So like I don't know. I think we just do it very, very standard because I think it makes more sense. I don't like leagues where people are scoring like 230 points to 256 because blah, blah, blah jerked off somebody and then they ended up scoring a touchdown and it was 72 yards and whatever his name is didn't throw 17 passes, so he didn't score 19 points. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that. I like it to be pretty standard. It's very touchdown dependent. That's the teams that win the touch, and it also shows you like the players that I think matter more in the game. I think in deeper leagues, yeah, you can play around with points because then it'll make it a little bit more fun. But yeah, we have a 12-team league. And unfortunately, like what's crazy is James is one of the people that is I think he was 7-2. But see, that's what I'm saying. Like your guys' point system. Okay, so Drew Crosby Pilgrims. I don't know what the hell that means. Try a different kind of slang term there, Pilgrim. And then Rachel Crosby. I had over 230 the last 3 weeks, but I'm rocking 140 this week. I was like, I don't know how you guys got that score. Hey, Blake Eck, you can go ahead and take yourself off the page then if it's so boring, just so you know. We'll go ahead and mute you for a minute because this is my page, not yours. How do I get rid of that now? Well, shit. There we go. He's getting muted for 15 minutes, guys. Let's let him think about it for a second. But I'm glad you joined, man. Thanks. I'm sorry it's boring for you, but anyways, yeah. Rachel, I think you guys' score of 230 the last 3 weeks, I think that's crazy. I think you guys have a Mickey Mouse point system. I'm not a big fan of that. You'll have to explain it to me sometime. But we're going to move on. So something that we've done quite a few times in the past is the pod decks. I actually went ahead and downloaded the app and paid for the you start 12 players. That makes sense too. The next thing is we've been doing these pod decks things. So basically, I will read the question to you guys, and while you start kind of like sharing your answers with me, then I will share my answer. Okay? Sorry, my throat's really dry, guys. All right. So, what kind of secret society would you like to start? Can you read that? Is it too bright? What kind of secret society would you like to start? And yeah, no worries, Josh. It would have been nice to get together with Patrick. I know he's followed the show a couple of times and hung out a couple of times. But yeah, we'll get together soon for sure. But yeah, so what kind of secret society would you like to start? Okay, so what I'm thinking is, I think I want to start a secret society that is dedicated to the research of aliens. I always revert to aliens. Dedicated to research of aliens, and the way that you get into the secret society is you would have to be able to show me definitive proof that they exist. Maybe that's something. And then Cam Evans overthrowing the government. I think there's plenty of those secret societies that already exist, Cam. I think that's why we have all this fuckery going on in the country right now. Maybe not necessarily overthrowing the government, but just making everybody hate the government. And, I don't have one way or another because I don't know enough about it to really have a comment, but it just seems like there's a lot of fuckery going on all the time. But yeah, definitely. Well, and aliens have been like, it was like released that they've found otherworldly craft. Like, did we all miss that? That's like, I mean, I want to know more. Can we know more? I mean, if Biden would have ran on the same, whatever the fuck Hillary is doing, like she'll release the alien documents if she's elected. I mean, I probably would have tried to vote like 17 times for that guy. I mean, come on. Let's do it. Release the alien stuff. Let me know about it. But let's move on to the next one. What strange thing would you like to happen at your funeral to make people laugh? What strange thing would you like to happen at your funeral to make people laugh? I know it's hard to see that because of the camera and how bright it is. But anyways, what strange thing would you like to happen at your funeral to make people laugh? I think what I want to happen is I show up and say, "Ha ha, I'm alive, bitches," because I'm never gonna die. I'm gonna download my brain into like a fucking robot or something, so everybody thinks I'm dead. My lifeless body is up on the stage in a casket, and then like I pop up from like behind it through like the floor, and then I do like a fucking robot like, what is it, moonwalk around, and then like in front of the fucking casket, and I'm like, "Surprise, bitches, I'm still here. You're gonna have to deal with me. I think you're gonna have to deal with me." Cam, I want Juice to start a podcast behind my casket. Dude, I'm telling you, it'll be the best voice you've ever heard doing a podcast behind the casket. Like, could you imagine like doing a podcast at things like that? The question, Rachel Crosby, was what strange thing would you like to happen at your funeral to make people laugh? As I over here with like allergies, I promise it's not COVID. I've been tested multiple times. Oh yes, Josh Helderbrand. I want Chris Duncan to lay down a fire verse that roasts beaver, dude. If they did that, that's pretty dope. That would be a pretty dope thing. Cam, haha, just be like, "Sorry, Cam's gone, but welcome to Juice in the Morning. We're about to have a show. Let's go." Funeral podcast. That's what I'm going to start doing. I think that's the future. Doing live podcasts at people's life events. Some kids getting a bris. getting the little like circumcision thing. That's what a bris is, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, the guy's coming in with the knife, and oh shit! Did you see that? Joe Rogan to be on there like, man, I bet the guy cutting the dick off did some DNT back in the day. No, I don't know. I just think that, and then you've got like where, and then, oh, I was about to say D'Elia because D'Elia has some of the weirdest like sayings and stuff like that. But where's D'Elia? He like disappeared off the face of the fucking earth because of like the sexual allegation charges. He like disappeared. Like what, where is he? Like, does he think if he just disappears for a while that everybody will forget about it and he can just like come back? What if he comes back as like a super like clean cut guy? Like bare face shaved, maybe like a bald 2 fade, like he's just got like super short hair. I know he's a pervert, Cam. I'm just saying, like what, is he just gone forever? Like, is he just decided to like disappear? So he like what, like what's the, does he think if he disappears he's not going to go to jail? Like I think you'll still go to jail for that. But yeah, Rachel Crosby says, what strange thing would you like to happen at your funeral to make people laugh? She wants a flash mob singing the safety dance. Yeah, but I don't think he can pull. Okay, so Rachel says he's going to pull an RDJ, but Robert Downey Jr., man, like Robert Downey Jr. wasn't a pervert. Robbie Downey Jr. just liked to party and get arrested, I thought. Like, I mean, is there stuff of him that he did that was uncomfortable? I mean, I don't know. Maybe RDJ did that. And I hope that's who you're talking about. All right, let's move on to the next question, ladies and gentlemen. Move on to the next question. While you're at it, make sure you share this. Make sure you share this stupid podcast. You know, make sure you share it so we get a lot of people hanging out. Who's the most famous person you've ever met? Who's the most famous person you've ever met? Besides me, of course. Like, I know that I'm like your FZX list celebrity, but who's the most famous person you've ever met? I'll start while you guys type in your answers, and then we'll go over your answers. How about we do it a little more structured like that, okay? Instead of me just fucking going off on a tangent of your guys' comments. Most famous person I've ever met in person. We'll say in person. Most famous person I ever met in person is Kevin from The Office. And I will tell you the story right now. We're downtown. It's the Super Bowl. I took a backpack, and they're called a Camelback. So basically they're a backpack that can hold liquid. It's supposed to be for water and like people hiking and things like that. And I decided to fill it with the kind of contents of like jungle juice. So like I took like, I think a fifth of Dark Eyes Blue Label, which is the 100 proof. And, I poured it on in there. I took a couple of like 5-hour energy drinks, poured them on in there. Took a couple of Gatorades, poured them on in there. I think I took like a Sprite or two to pour it on in there to like give it a little bit of like, I thought it would give it like, what the fuck am I thinking? Like the soda, like carbonation. I thought it would give it some carbonation. Why can't I think of the word carbonation, by the way? You fucking kidding me? What's wrong with my brain? But yeah, I thought it would give it some carbonation, and I put it in there, and I shook it up, and then we took it on down to Indianapolis, and I drank it all day. I mean, we'd go into bars, and like what was really cool is I could just like flip the little nozzle up into my like backpack like strap and just like zip it up, and then it would disappear, so nobody even like knew that I had this stuff on me. And then like, you know, I would go into like a bar, and like every bar was like just walk in, like no getting carded or anything like that. Occasionally they would card you, but like I would have my backpack, and they would be like, "Hey sir, you can't bring your backpack in here." And I'd like be like, "No, there's nothing in it." And like I'd open it, and like there'd be some socks and like underwear and like some shorts. And like that's my same question. I know that you're asking yourself, like, why is there socks and underwear and shorts in there? Because I needed something in there. Like if I'm going into a bar randomly, like I need to have something, like I'm carrying something in this backpack, because if I wasn't, like, why would I be carrying this backpack full of booze, you know? Like, so I had to fake it. Anyways, so we would go into the bar, and then, like, as we're in the bar, I'd like unzip my little fucking little zipper, and like I would pull my little hose out, and like I would drink it, and then it like started getting traction. Like, people noticed what I was doing. And then it got like super gross, because like other people were like, "Oh, give me a fucking suck," and like I would hand them the hose for a little bit, and they would drink off of it, and then, you know, then I'd hand it to somebody else. Blah blah blah. Long story short, I mean, that's probably where COVID started, but it was like way back then. So I don't know. I doubt it's when COVID started, but, you know, who knows? But it was disgusting, but it was super fun. And then got super drunk, and we were supposed to go meet some friends at a hotel, and we walk into the hotel, and everybody is like just going to the bar because that's where our friends are at this hotel. And I lock eyes with Kevin Malone from The Office, and I remember this very clearly. The first thought in my head was like, he's probably a celebrity. He doesn't like want just people running up to him and like shaking his hand and like asking for a picture. But as soon as I noticed him, it was almost like all my drunk friends were like, "Oh, that's Kevin." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, he probably doesn't want a bunch of people running up to him to like ask for his picture and like shake his hand, put their arms on him and stuff. And they were like, "Yeah, we get that, but that's what we're going to do." And then they all ran over there, blah, 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 did their thing. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, man, I like your work. All I wanted to do was just shake your hand." And he reaches his hand out, gives me a firm handshake, and says, "Thank you." And I said, "No, thank you." And then I walked away. Didn't get a picture. Don't need a picture. That picture's imprinted in my brain. Why would I need a picture? I'm always going to have that memory. Unless I get like, no, we're not even going to talk about Alzheimer's or anything like that, because I'm downloading my brain into a fucking robot. But yeah, that's the most famous person I've ever met. I think you guys have some pretty cool ones out here. Rachel Crosby's met Hillary Duff. That's pretty dope. Like, how did that work? Like, was it like a meet and greet thing? Was it just, you know, Hillary was like, you know, walking down the street and you're like, "Hey, it's Hillary Duff." And she's like, "Hey, it's Rachel Crosby." And you're like, "Hey, how'd you know my name?" How did it go? Reggie Miller, that's a pretty good one. Skrillex is really dope. I mean, Skrillex is probably like a million times more famous than Reggie Miller. Like, I know Reggie Miller is like super famous in like Indiana, but I guarantee you, like, you couldn't go to like Europe and be like Reggie Miller and then people still know who you're talking about, unless they're like old enough to really, and like they care about basketball. Skrillex is dope. That's cool. Amy Hadden, Rick Springfield. I'm assuming he's a music guy, right? Like, I know I'm showing like my intelligence level right now, but him and Jack Wild, I'm not sure who those are. Or, I mean, I know Michael Bolton. But yeah, those are all really interesting celebrities to meet. Like, I want to know the stories behind those. Give me some feedback. Cam Evans, my brother ate breakfast with Cuba Gooding Jr. in San Diego. Are you fucking kidding me? That's probably the coolest breakfast of all time. Who would I have breakfast with? Like, who would I want to have breakfast with? I'm thinking like, and I don't know who Zach Wild is either. Amy Hadden, like, I know you may have had like a typo, but I don't know who Zach Wild is either. Who? Everybody listening and watching right now, who would you want to have breakfast with? I would say like Chris Evans, Captain America. Like, he would like have to be Captain America too. Like, he'd have to be like super cool, or I would hate that breakfast. Like, I'd be so sad. I don't know. I wonder if he is like one of the good. I wonder if he's cool, but he's very vocal about his like politics. So we'd probably talk about politics at breakfast, and I'd be like, "Chris, whoa. I don't care about your politics. Just tell me more speeches like you're Captain America. Do that, please." That's awesome, guys. That's really cool. And then Rachel Crosby, who would she have breakfast with? Kelly Clarkson or Betty White? both pretty good options. Both pretty good options, I think. But Chris Evans is a better option, so you should probably do that. Jon Favreau from Cam Evans, that's pretty good. I like that one as a breakfast date. Amy Haddon, Tom Hiddleston. We know Tom Hiddleston is your favorite MCU character. We know it. We love him. He's a beautiful man too. We like him. Blake Heck, I met Carrot Top shaving heads in Times Square. Like, why was he shaving heads? That's the other thing. Like, was it just a Carrot Top bit? Like, he's in the middle of nowhere, like, I'm going to shave people's heads and it's going to be hilarious. I don't know. That's just how I assumed he talked. All right, guys. Next question. The only way this would be better is if you guys were talking to me live. Like, I know you can only talk to me via chat for what we're doing right now, but who can you impersonate really well? Who can you impersonate really well? I've got a good one. It's been a while since I've done it, but this is me doing Family Guy, doing Morgan Freeman. Ever since I was a young boy, people have enjoyed the sound of my voice. And that's the only part that I can remember, unless I like actually watch the episode of Family Guy. Oh yeah. And I can't do any of his other like sayings or anything because I'm so tied to that one phrase that I can't do any of the other ones. Blake Eck, Trump. I want to hear Trump. I want to hear your Trump. I think we've met before, actually, now that I think about it. Let me think about it. I think we've met before. But yeah, this is kind of what it's going to be, just so you guys know. Even if it's boring, it's going to be a good time. I appreciate everybody that joined and hung out with us for a little bit. I'm hoping to go get to bed here pretty soon. Got a long day tomorrow. Just make sure that you guys follow the podcast on all podcast sites. It's at Juice in the Morning. I haven't put out an episode for a while, but we're going to put this out on there. And just follow the page, share stuff on the page, talk some shit on the page. I don't care if you talk shit. I like it. It's fun. Share it with people. It'll be fun. Hopefully the more that I keep streaming, the the stars support thing will show back up. I don't know. Who knows? But also I have it's an Instagram for like being active and things like that, but it's really just me going to the gym, hanging out, and hopefully supporting all of you guys out there trying to be active. So if you want to share stuff with me, it's at b.a.d.dad. So it's at baddad.com or at baddad on Instagram. It's just kind of like, I'm trying to be a little bit like motivational for people. I'm glad. Well, now that you took your Blake, I appreciate you commenting in the chat. Now that you said some of this stuff and you kind of like actually joined along and like had a good time and like was doing what you were doing, you learned your lesson from that little 15-minute block there. So, go ahead and talk shit, but just know you might have to suffer the consequences if you talk shit. I will never ban somebody from the site, from the page, unless they do something extremely egregious. Like, just tell me I'm boring. Like, I won't ever block anybody. Like, I'm not gonna like ban you completely. That's not gonna happen. But just make sure you share stuff on there. Share memes with me, man. That's one of my favorite things. I like sharing those with other people. Share just whatever you want. We'll have a good time. This Juice in the Morning thing will keep going. Once again, it's on my schedule, so you'll get it when you get it. But I'm sure I'll see you guys soon. Whenever I really get the itch to really want to talk to people, we'll get back on here. But it's something that'll probably be pretty decent. It'll be decently consistent. But we look forward to talking to you guys. I just paid for this Poddex thing, so I got an unlimited amount of cards to go through and kind of chat with you guys and start a little bit of back and forth conversation. But once again, this has been Justin Kelly for JK Media and the podcast Juice in the Morning. We will see you soon. Peace out, guys. Thanks for the share, Blake.